Welcome back to Croke Park. The Dublin team are out onto the field ready for their semi-final confrontation against Cork. We await the arrival of the Cork team, and indeed those supporters down at the canal end there await the arrival of the Cork team. And listen for the cheer as Niall Cahalan leads his men out onto Croke Park. So as the Cork team line up for the photograph then, I suppose we must comment that if the competition between the teams is as good as the competition between the supporters to be heard here at Croke Park this afternoon, we're in for an almighty clash indeed. Cork sitting down then for the traditional photograph that will grace the walls of houses and clubs around Cork if their men win here today. And Larry Tompkins, well, my goodness, what a day for Larry Tompkins today. He has battled long and hard in the Cork jersey, and as you know very well, has overcome so many injuries to be part of this Cork team in 1995. OK, let's go down to pitch side again to Tony O'Donoghue. He's talking to Jack Sheedy and Tony Davis.
Yes, indeed, two players who I'm sure would love to be involved today, Tony Davis and Jack Sheedy. Jack, you Dublin dressing room a short time ago. The pressure is on them.
Yeah, there's pressure, all right, but most of the pressure comes from within. You know, the lads know that they've been there before, and they want to get back there again. And you know, there's just pressure that comes from within the setup. McGalvin is in; he's the Dinell on the programme. There was a lot of talk over the last couple of nights about Dermot Deasy and about Paul Curran. Were they just injury scares, or were they the usual rumours? No, you know, you'll always pick up a couple of knocks in training and things like that, and they were just superficial knocks that they picked up, and there's nothing lasting, you know, attached to either of them.
We talked about the heat earlier on, and thankfully there's a bit of a breeze blowing now. Do you think the Dubs will look to play with the wind?
I honestly don't know what way John will choose to play, but the wind, it's not terribly significant, but it's a big help to the players, because it was very warm here at the start of the minor match, and that bit of a breeze would help both teams.
Tony Davis, Colin Corkery was Cork's injury worry. You tell me though he's flying.
Colin is going well. He got a knock a couple of weeks ago, but he's fine. He's looking good, and I hope he do well today. He's going very well in training all last week.
Cork are underdogs. Will that suit them?
I don't know really. I think that's something the press puts somebody on you. They're both out in the field and all the talking is over, and it's just down to 70 minutes, and it's down to who wants to win it the most. And I feel we have the hunger and the fitness and determination to win it, and I think Cork will win today.
I'm sure you'd both love to be out there, but we're looking forward to a great game. Thanks very much indeed for joining us. Back to you, Michael.
Tony, thank you very much indeed. The Artane Boys band ready to take the players in a few moments' time on their march around Croke Park. And John O'Leary, well, he's played many a fine goal for Dublin down through the years, and he'll be looking for another inspiring performance today as some of the Dublin players get into a little bit of a huddle. And certainly Charlie Redmond and Keith Barr do anyway. They're going to have their own private little discussion about this match. Martin McHugh, we've talked about the Dublin team this year, how they've really looked like All-Ireland champions. They've looked very fit. But Jack Sheedy there, obviously a player of his calibre, is going to be missing from this side.
Yeah, he's definitely a big miss to Dublin, especially if it gets a very hot day. His running ability and his fitness would help them out, and he always, you know, his ability to get scores at later stages as well is important. But I think that they've coped well without him. I think that the Dublin team are probably the fittest team, or say the fittest team I've seen in a long, long time in Croke Park. And I believe that could stand for them a lot today. I think that we played both Dublin and Cork in challenge games, and I was more impressed with Dublin with their level of fitness. And I think they really are hungry. But this Cork teams don't fear anything. And when they're down, when people don't expect them to win, is when they're most dangerous. So I think that it's going to be an interesting battle.
Brian Mullins, from your point of view, and obviously you've played in and seen quite a few Dublin teams down through the years, this present setup, are they as good as people are making them out to be, do you think?
Well, as I said at Arthur last year, it's only as good as their last match, and today is their last match, so it's the test today. I believe both teams will have trained very hard, and I think now it's psychological now. It's about which team, which group of individuals are able to impose their will on their opposing number. So it's an intriguing scenario, and we just have to wait and see. As Tony Davis said there, Cork are confident and they think they're going to win. Obviously, publicly, Dublin are put up on a pedestal as being favourites after their victory over Meath in the final, but that counts for nothing as far as I'm concerned today. It's down to the players now.
Right, Brian, well, I suppose the next hour and a half will tell us everything. Marty Morrissey is in the commentary box now, and he's going to tell us the team lineups.
Thank you very much, Michael. Well, I can tell you the Cork team are lining out as selected, which means that Colin Corkery takes his place at left corner forward. Niall Carlan, as you can see there earlier in the toss, is captain of the side at left corner back. But what a very strong half-back line. Kieran O'Sullivan, Stephen O'Brien and Brian Corcoran. And that's going to be very, very influential. Colin Corkery's role, scoring no less than 30 points out of Cork's total of 55 in the championship so far. And on that statistic alone, you can see how vital he is. He's able to play. Good news for Cork. There were doubts about several players in the Dublin team, including Dermot Deasy, who had a back injury during the week, but he's able to play at full back. So too is Paul Kern at right half back, while Mick Galvin will wear number 25. He's recovered from injury, and he joins Jason Sherlock and Charlie Redmond, the two darlings of Dublin at the moment, and they will make up a very, very impressive Dublin full forward line. Now the question being asked, of course, in Dublin is, will Paul Clarke play at centre forward, or will it be Dessie Farrell's job? But very much the media man at the moment is this 19-year-old Jason Sherlock from the Fianna Club here in Dublin. Soccer star, basketball star, and very influential, scoring no less than a goal and 2 points in the championship so far. Mick Galvin from the Oliver Plunkett's club, good news for him, he's able to play in this All-Ireland football semi-final that has all the glamour, all the colour of an All-Ireland football final. Dermot Deasy is a welcome addition to this Dublin team, because there were great doubts seemingly during the week, but having had a quick word with him, he seemed to be fine and not in the least bit worried that he would be unable to play. Last minute words there between Stephen O'Brien and Kieran O'Sullivan. If I move left, Kieran, you move into the centre.
Stephen O'Brien, obviously a very, very important part of Dublin's setup today. Martin McHugh looking at Stephen O'Brien, and indeed his two colleagues in the half-back line that Marty Morrissey spoke of there. It is very important that they play well today, because the Dublin half-forward line were excellent against Meath.
Yeah, they worked hard against Meath, even containing the Meath half-back and getting up the field, and they'll be working that today. I think the two half-back lines have a very, very important part to play in the match, because both of them are very strong. The two wing half-forward backs, and both teams go forward a lot. So it's going to be an interesting battle around that area. I feel it's interesting to see that Dublin have picked Dessie Farrell on the wing. I wouldn't really
play there.
I don't think he'll play there, Michael, but I think it's wrong to do that. I think you should have confidence enough in yourself to take him on the place he's going to play. Maybe they want to take him away from Stephen O'Brien and feel strongly about that. It'll be interesting to see where he plays, but I would think his best position in Dublin is centre half forward.
Brian, no better man than yourself to give us an idea of how you think the break of the ball might go with midfield today, because four good, able contenders there.
Yeah, I think that Dublin need to consolidate the performance they had against Meath in that position. I'd say we'd all agree that the Cork centre field are more established, for want of a better word. Myself, I think the key areas today are Dublin will have to get an awful lot more out of their full forward line than they did the last day. Contrary to popular opinion, I don't believe Jason Sherlock
I was going to say that,
has shown what he's potentially able for, or got the return. And
Do you think he's been put under too much pressure by all this?
I do. And I think that the Dublin half-forward line against Meath had such a great game that maybe his performance was overlooked, or lack of it. The Dublin full-back line as well is going to be greatly tested by this full forward line. Billy Morgan is a very astute tactician, and Dermot Deasy is going to come under a lot of pressure today, and I think it's going to be the difference between winning and losing as to how he copes with that. So I would see that those two lines as key areas.
All right, Brian, well, as we can see, the players are on their parade around Croke Park. Very soon they'll be coming around under our position here, which is in the Nanny stand. Alongside Hill 16, I'm sure a great cheer is going to go up from the Dub supporters there. While we listen to that and watch the spectacle here in Croke Park today, hand you back to the main commentary box, where Mick O'Dwyer will join Marty Morrissey this afternoon.
Thank you very much, Michael. And indeed, an interesting statistic there that comes to mind is the fact that this is the very first Cork football team to come to Croke Park having won a Munster Championship without scoring a goal. Many people feel that today they will hit the back of the net, but will it be enough to deprive these people on Hill 16 from rejoicing? Or will it be at the other end, at the canal end, where the Cork people will be rejoicing and singing the banks of the Lee? Croke Park is a spectacle of colour. It really is a beautiful day in Croke Park. Very, very hot. When I was out on the pitch earlier, I can assure you that these players will need a lot of H2O right throughout the 70 minutes. Mick O'Dwyer joins me. Your thoughts before the game, Mick?
Well, I think it's going to be a very physical game today. There are two big teams. Cork are a big, strong side, so are Dublin. I think this will boil down to fitness at the end of the day, and in my opinion, I think Dublin are a fitter team than Cork. I saw Dublin play against Louth up in Navan, and they look very, very impressive, and as they have gone on in the championship, they've seemed to get better. But they're a very, very strong and physical side, and they're also an exceptionally fit side. I think it'll be a really good clash, and I fancy Dublin to win this one.
Well, we'll see if your judgment is as good as it always was, Mick. Dublin for the All-Ireland final, says Mick O'Dwyer. I'm sure that Billy Morgan and his colleagues will disagree as we pause for the national anthem. Supporters enjoying seeing themselves on the very large screen here at Croke Park and giving each other a pat on the back. As just before the game started, you might just have seen that Niall Cahalane won the toss and interestingly decided to play against the breeze. It's a very light summer breeze, I must say, and it means that Cork will play from right to left. And already Dublin management have made a switch. Dessie Farrell is starting at centre half forward. Paul Clark is out in the wing. Pat McEnany from Carduff and County Monaghan. He should have been refereeing the championship final in Gaelic Park, Chicago today between Wolf Tones and the Pershing. But when he heard he was refereeing this match, it was bye-bye Chicago. Hello Dublin. The All-Ireland football semi-final is on. And that Dublin team again, Charlie Redmond and Mick Galvin have switched corners, and Cork line out as they have been selected. And already we have a first free of the match, and that's going to the Leesiders. Once again, it's Danny Cullity that's in a spot of bother. Of course, he'll recall last year that very unfortunate clash of heads with Tony Davis. I'm sure he'll be able to continue on. O'Mahony giving it back to Stephen O'Brien. And already you can see Dessie Farrell is very anxious to hold on to Stephen O'Brien, not let him go forward. Joe Kavanagh back outside to his Nemo Rangers clubmate Colin Corkery. To the far side, to the Newmarket man Danny Cullity, dropping it in, and unfortunately there for John Davis, can't reach it. First wide of the match to Danny Cullity. Quickly taken. This is Brian Steins looking for Jason Sherlock, who's made a run, but it gives a long ball instead, where Mark Farr gathers it at the second attempt and gives it to his captain Niall Cahalane, to Brian Corcoran, to Danny Cullity. Remember, Corker playing against the breeze is not a major factor, but it is helping Dublin just slightly in this first half. That's a good ball inside. Is there anybody running into the space? This is Mark O'Sullivan, surely being held, being fouled by Keith Galvin. And the first free for Cork, the least scoreable free of the match. Corkery, just waiting for the referee to tell Brian Steins to move back. First point perhaps for Colin Corkery at the All-Ireland semi-final. First score of the match.
Yeah, even though it's early days yet, Marco Sullivan and Joe Kavanagh seem to be very sharp on the inside line for Cork, and they seem to be getting top of their men in there already.
First kick out for John O'Leary. The loose ball, Brian Steins goes after it. Don Davis is in there. And this time it's a free for Dublin. Mick Deegan taking it, but he gives it straight to Kieran O'Sullivan, who is brought down by Jim Gavin. Punting it up towards Mark O'Sullivan. This is a fine footballer from Newmarket. We're going to have to keep an eye on the number 13, so too are Dublin. Joe Kavanagh claims his innocence. Absolutely wrong, Pat, says Joe, but it is a free for Dublin. Again, it's Kieran O'Sullivan, and again he wins the free. And again, the guilty party is Jim Gavin. Referee is having a word with him, I think, just emphasizing that he's the boss and not to be disagreeing with him. Keith Barr, Larry Tompkins. Stephen O'Brien and Desi Farrell's tussle is important, so too is Keith Barr's ability to keep Tompkins under wraps. Brian Corcoran, Danny Cullity opening up to this side where Marco Sullivan has been given a license to roam from one corner to the other, obviously, trying to expose one of Dublin's newcomers, Keith Gavin. Paul Clark, Paddy Moore, Mark O'Connor. First ball, a vital psychological one for the Cork fullback. Mark O'Sullivan once more. It's a good ball in towards Kavanagh. Slightest touch from Brian Steins. Don Davis gone inside. Cutting outside is Podsy O'Mahony. Trying to cut through. Still Podsy. Half blocked down. One blocked down. And Brian Steins comes away with it. Paddy Moore. It's a deafening roar here at Croke Park when Dublin go forward. Charlie Redmond and Mark Farr. The referee has blown his whistle and he's given a free to Mark. Quickly taken. There's no messing around. Liam Honahan. To Colin Corkery. Back to Larry. To Don Davis. To Colin Corkery. Pumping one in towards Mark O'Sullivan. Getting inside Keith Galvin. Keith dispossessing him. John O'Leary comes off his line and the referee has blown his whistle and given a free for Dublin. And Cork looked very dangerous, Mick.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That was a great ball in from Corkery there into Mark O'Sullivan. I think he would have been. It would have been advisable for him if he had let the ball out there. He had a few players outside him who could have scored. But Cork are definitely on top there on the half-back line at the moment and also at midfield.
Paul Beelan up towards Jason Sherlock and Mark O'Connor. Oh, lovely. I don't know if that was a pass. It was more of a throw, but you would see in Lansdowne Road. But Jason got away with it. Well, his tussle with Mark O'Connor is going to be very interesting. It's 1-1 at the moment. Just watch this again. Now you have to be very sharp. Here's Jason. Now comes the pass. Nice basketball touch. Brian Steins. It's a good ball. A testing one from Mark Farr. Not very convincing, but it comes out to Stephen O'Brien. Not a good clearance. Comes to Desi Farrell. A little bit of space for Desi. Into Kevin O'Dwyer. That'll be important for the Cork custodian. Brian Corcoran. Niall Carlisle. Liam Honahan. Back to his captain from Castlehaven. Red ball over towards Danny Cullity, giving a lot of space. Joe Kavanagh coming out to meet him, but he took too much out of it. Dermot Deasy to Paul Beelan. Mick Deegan coming forward to Jason Sherlock. Jersey tested. Well blocked down by O'Connor. He has it again. Over to Charlie. And that's going to be a free for Dublin. It's even Stevens. When the Cork forwards go forward, they seem to cause a few problems, but at the other end, so too are Dublin.
Agreed, the Cork backline are marking very close, and it seems to be a man-for-man job here. It's very, very close marking, and the Dublin forward line are getting very little freedom. So they're not going to have it as easy as they had against Meath, I can tell you.
And that's a Kerryman that's saying it, so it must be true. Charlie Redmond with the free. Hitting it sweetly over the bar. Colin Corkery 1 point. Charlie Redmond 1 point. The sides are level. Concentration is on full power, I can tell you, in Croke Park. Kevin O'Dwyer from Skibbereen of Donovan Rossa. Danny Cullity, his midfield partner Liam Honohan calling for it. To Don Davis. Larry Tompkins going through, bursting his way forward. And Larry is given the free. He literally took on 3 of them and ploughed through the 3 of them. And after 9 minutes of play, Cork now have 7 frees in this All-Ireland semi-final. Already you can see it's very thirsty work, Mick.
It's a game that's going to boil down to place kicking. I think, you know, it's so close. It'll be a game between Corkery and Charlie Redmond.
Well, it's Colin's second attempt, but he's decided to place it again. Puts it straight over the bar. 2 frees, 2 successes, and Cork lead by 1. John O'Leary, one of 4 Dublin players who played in the last All-Ireland semi-final against Cork in 1989. Brian Corcoran. Oh, it's a terrible ball from Brian. Keith Barr comes in and gives a good ball to Paul Clark. Soccer didn't work there because it comes to Larry Tompkins. Paddy O'Mahony is to his left. Liam Honohan is to his right. Straight ahead of the Dublin goalposts. In towards Mark O'Sullivan, John O'Leary! Bad for the heart. When you see a man like John O'Leary having to go backpedaling, but it works out all right. Paul Curran. Brian Steins. Switching it over. Mark O'Connor leaves it behind him. Danny Cullity is there with Liam Honohan. Cork midfield doing very well in the opening 11 minutes. It was said beforehand that it would be Dublin's biggest test at midfield. This is the left half back, Brian Corcoran. Paul Clark is after him, still Brian, and that's another free. Well, Dublin were concerned that Stephen O'Brien would be the man going forward, but it was the left half back from the Erin's Own club in Cork that went forward. He was well found.
Yeah, Liam Honohan and Danny Cullity are they're holding sway in the middle of the field at the present time. Steins and Beelan haven't come into the game at all yet. And if Dublin are to do anyway well, they need to be coming in. And also the Cork half backline are completely on top.
Third attempt for Colin Corkery. And the third success. Cork people happy so far. I'm sure their captain, Niall Cahalane, is as well. And O'Neill mightn't be, even though it's early days. 12.5 minutes gone now in this first half. His team, remember, playing with that just slight breeze in this first half. Nick Deegan trying to send it into the corner. Linesman at the far side. PJ Quinn from down. He's in disagreement with Charlie Redmond. Referee Pat McEnany has overruled his linesman, and he's given the line ball to Dublin. This is the incident again. Let's see if Pat McEnany was right. Mark Farr, there it is, went off Mark Farr's knee. Yes, correct decision by the referee. Paul Beelan. It's a dangerous ball. Kevin Dwyer's underneath it. Comes out with it. Almost. Stephen O'Brien to Mark O'Connor. To Larry Tompkins. Trying to get it out towards Mark Farr. The referee maintained that he touched the ball along the ground. And that's going to be a free for Dublin. Larry Tompkins, when he did hit terra firma, well, there's a bit of a harsh decision really, judging it from that angle. So certainly Desi Farrell will be watching for Charlie Redmond, but normally from this range and this angle, he just taps it over. Still a good distance out. John Costello, Pat O'Neill. Watch Charlie. Floated straight over the crossbar. Colin Corkery 3, Charlie Redmond 2, and Cork lead by just 1 point. Scoreline and the time. RT brings you live coverage of this intriguing All-Ireland semi-final. Paul Curran, Mick Galvin making a run for it. Niall Cahalane, and they said he was finished. Oh, how foolhardy can you be? Colin Corkery and Keith Galvin, in fact it's Paddy Moran, and that's going to be a free for Cork. Barr doing well so far on Larry Tompkins. Patsy O'Mahony taking it quickly, but Joe Kavanagh had just lost his balance as he was about taking that free, and that's going to be another line ball, this time for Cork.
Yeah, Cork are trying to create a lot of space inside in the full forward line. Larry Tompkins is playing very deep.
Cork bench must be pleased so far. This is Larry Tompkins going forward with Liam Honan. Frontal charge there. Paul Clark would maintain that Liam Honan ran into him. And let's see this again. It was Paul Beelan, in fact. And Paul Clark seemed to have pulled the jersey just before that as well. Frank Cogan giving Niall Cahalane a little bit of water there. And it certainly will be required by the players today. As Colin Corkery faces his biggest test so far. Oh, it's a beautiful kick by Colin Corkery. 4 points for Colin Corkery. 34 points in the championship so far. And there's one happy Cork man. John O'Leary sending it down the middle. Brian Corcoran is there. Certainly the Dublin half-forward line have not been seen so far. In fact, they're on the retreat because Paul Clark, Desi Farrell and Jim Gavin are in their own half of the field at the moment.
Yeah, the Cork team are dominating all over the field at the present time. The half-back line, midfield, half-forward line, they're really on top of Dublin. Dublin haven't come into the game at all yet. But as I said, it's 4 points for Corkery and 2 for Charlie Redmond, so it's a game between the two place kickers.
This is another powerful kick. This one drops to the left and wide, however. And amazingly, as the Cork sideline looks on, we've only recorded 2 wides in this match. Liam Honahan, pulled on by Keith Barr, Danny Cullity. And it's now becoming more and more evident with the Cork midfield duo of Honahan and Cullity have gained superiority. Desi Farrell, way out in the wing, dropping one in more hope than confidence. Kevin O'Dwyer to Mark O'Connor. Danny Cullity once more to Liam Honahan, and they're the 2 midfielders, and they pump the ball forward. Don Davis, surely held by Mick Deegan, and Mick is going to be spoken to by the referee, Pat McEnany. And Don Davis, the Garda from Bantry, was well arrested here in no uncertain terms by the mechanic from Finglas. And Mick Deegan becomes the first man to be booked in this All-Ireland football semi-final. Kieran O'Sullivan. Mentioning backpedaling, there's Paul Beelan, Dublin midfielder. His colleague Brian Steins, Paul Curran, Paddy Moran. Dublin have to build it like this. It's a better ball, and it runs on for Jason Sherlock, and Mark O'Connor did so well. Well done, Mark O'Connor. From Bantry Blues. You might change him to red after that intervention, because it was a wonderful ball for Jason Sherlock, and well cut out by the Cork number 3. It could inspire a Cork score at the other end. Mark O'Sullivan puts it over the bar and joins Colin Corkery on the scoreboard. And your market 21-year-old has come of age, but it all came from Mark O'Connor's intervention. Liam Honahan took up the challenge, dropped it down to Mark O'Sullivan, and I feel already he has the beating of Keith Galvin, not because at this point, but because of his overall contribution.
Yes, that was a very, very good score by Mark O'Sullivan, and himself and Kavanagh completely on top from the inside line there.
Well, that's a score that will certainly please Billy Morgan. Starting at his own end and finishing at the other. Joe Kavanagh to Paddy O'Mahony. Where's the Dublin side that certainly showed it the way for Meath or against Meath? They're in trouble here because Cork are running ragged all over the place. Larry Tompkins tries to do too much. Brian Steins picks up an injury. Paul Curran comes away with it. He wants the ball and nobody's coming out to meet it. Here comes Charlie now. Charlie Redmond. Jason Sherlock being held around the square. Paul Clark. Here's Jason. Paul Clark on for the overlap. He gets inside Mark O'Connor. Difficult angle for Jason. Lobs it in and the goalkeeper is there, but the referee has blown his whistle. And Kevin O'Dwyer gets his free. It's quickly taken, but the referee won't allow it. Has to be taken again. Ball dropped in. Kevin O'Dwyer was up under it, but was Jim Gavin inside or outside beforehand? But the goalkeeper was fouled anyway, so Kevin O'Dwyer gets the free.
Yes, Jim Gavin was well in the square there. There was no question of doubt about it.
Interesting switch at the other end. Dublin have put Keith Galvin on Colin Corkery, and Paddy Moore now has taken up Mark O'Sullivan. Jason Sherlock, there's nobody running through. He gets past Mark O'Connor. There's a goal here. There it is. Jason, the darling of Dublin, has lifted the siege. The one and only chance. Mark O'Connor was doing so well, but when he hit the ground, Jason Sherlock hit the back of the net.
Yes, this was a great move actually, and Jason took him on, went straight through, and he had his mind made up with where he was going to put it, and he put it right in the corner of the net. A great goal from Jason.
No matter what way you look at this is exactly what this Dublin side needed. Jason Sherlock got inside Mark O'Connor, who unfortunately fell, and really his finishing was clinical. What we were saying earlier about a trouble at midfield, at the far side Pat Gilroy is warming up, so I think Dublin are beginning to acknowledge the problem that we spoke about earlier, Mick.
That's true, yeah. Cork have dominated the game up to this, and now Dublin are back and on level terms with them, so Cork will have to pick it all up and have it all to do again, but unquestionably Cork were completely dominating in the middle of the field, and Dublin were right to make a change.
Sides level, and the breaking ball falls to Podsy O'Mahony. Denny Cullity and Don Davis to his right. Still Podsy going for the point, and it floats to the left and wide. Podsy saying that it went over, but the umpire is adamant. Pat O'Neill and Fran Ryder now up from the sideline bench, along with Bobby Doyle. Liam Honohan is the man that's injured there, and Dr. Con Murphy is in to check that he's all right. 24 and a half minutes gone, and plenty of excitement in Croke Park. This is the incident again. Liam Honohan, you can see total accident. Oh, and then, oh dear, that was unfortunate as the Dublin midfielder fell on top of him. Liam Honohan from Bishopstown. And certainly Cork might be thinking of a change, but I'm sure that they will leave well enough alone for the time being. As Desi Farrell takes up the challenge, giving it inside to Charlie Redmond. Brought down by Mark Farr, and a free for Dublin. And this game, thanks to Jason Sherlock's goal, is turning on a sixpence, I think is what they say.
No doubt Dublin seem to have got heart from that goal, and they're now playing exceptionally well. They're creating the space and they're letting the ball into the space, and Charlie Redmond, of course, played for that free and he got it, and no doubt I'd say he'll point this one again.
Certainly Mark Farr was in trouble there. As Dublin have further problems around midfield with an injury. Paul Beelan being helped to his feet there, and it seems to be a recurrence of his old injury, and Paul Beelan is going to play no further part in this All-Ireland semi-final. And Charlie will be disappointed to see his colleague and friend going off. But Pat Gilroy is now playing at midfield for Dublin. Here comes Charlie Redmond as Kevin O'Dwyer looks on. As always, the free taking is impeccable. 3 points for Charlie, and Dublin lead by 1. Good kick out by Kevin O'Dwyer. Ryan Steins. That certainly should inspire Dublin at midfield. Paul Clark. Charlie coming out to meet it. Aiming for Mick Galvin. Winning it against Niall Carlan. Despite the jersey being pulled, not given the advantage. Niall is disgusted. And for dissent, he has now gained or given an advantage to Dublin. Well, Niall Carlan is quite adamant that he was innocent, but certainly from this picture you can see no doubt. I don't know what Niall is arguing about, to be honest. The captain is far from happy as Dublin surely stretch their lead to 2 points. Another point for Charlie Redmond. And interestingly, again at the far side, Cork this time are thinking about bringing in a substitute. Stephen Callan is warming up. And they're now going to try and get the referee's attention. And Stephen, who scored a point against Clare in the Munster Championship semi-final, is being brought in. Now, the question is, who is going off? It looks like Podsy O'Mahony is going off.
Well, that's a bit of a surprise there, Podsy O'Mahony coming off for Cork. Unless he picked up some sort of an injury. Stephen Callan, of course, started the Munster final, was very disappointed to be taken off down in Killarney, so let's see if he can do his bit for the Cork cause in this particular game.
Yes, indeed, Tony. A big surprise to see Podsy going off so early. And Tony could be correct that maybe he has picked up an injury. Jason Sherlock, meanwhile, with Paul Curran. And already Stephen has given a free away. It's an amazing game, really, Mick O'Dwyer, because Cork were in control, and for some reason they've lost it.
Completely and totally. Styles have really come into the game in the middle of the field at the present time. But that changed there, and now I cannot understand it. Young O'Mahony, I thought, was playing reasonably well on the wing, and now they brought in Callan. And Callan didn't do well in the Munster final. That was an amazing switch. But this is a great opportunity again for Dublin to put another point on the board.
Yes, Desi Farrell is taking it. He miskicked it completely. Jason Sherlock gets fist to it, or Jim Gavin does rather. Tom Davis leaving it behind him. Nice little chip, lovely skill by Paul Clark. Not a bad ball at all, but Brian Corcoran manages to get a boot to it. Paul Clark. Is this the same game that we had for the first 15 minutes? Because Dublin are totally in control now. Jason Sherlock again. Charlie Redmond somehow managing to sneak it out to him. Pat Gilroy dropping it in. Desi Farrell called for it, but Kevin O'Dwyer is there and gives it to Larry Tompkins. Stephen O'Brien. And away goes Stephen. Pat Gilroy facing him. Still O'Brien. Sending it over towards Mark O'Sullivan. Keith Galvin back on him again. Mark O'Sullivan. To Stephen Callan. Waiting underneath it. Oh, well done indeed. Keith Barr. An amazing run by Larry Tompkins, who followed that ball all the way up to the other end to force Keith Barr to concede a 45. Billy Morgan and Martin Crowley. And I think they're wondering what should they do next, because certainly this game seems to have just gained in Dublin's favour and in this man's favour at the moment. Colin Corkery with this 45. And he sends it wide.
Yeah, the pressure is building up now, and Cullen missed that one, and Charlie, I'd say, should have taken the one at the other end as well, so that evens it out. But as Marty, as you said there a minute ago, Dublin are completely in control at the minute.
Absolutely, Mick. It'll be interesting to see what happens next. That's gone out over the line. This time PJ Quinn, the linesman, has no doubt. I think Jim was trying to indicate that he finds it hard to hear with the crowd when he hear calls. It's a line ball for Cork. Kieran O'Sullivan. Urin in West Cork. John O'Leary comes out. Mark O'Sullivan is there. Stephen Callan. That goes off a Dublin man. Line ball for Cork. Colin Corcoran is well able to put these over the bar. Dropping it in, John O'Leary comes out to it. Paul Curran trying to get a hand to it. Stephen Callan chasing after it. So too is Paddy Moran. And the cornerback did very well. That's good defending. Paul Clark adding to it. Charlie Redmond and Mark Farr. That's going to be a line ball for Dublin. Quickly taken onto Desi Farrell. Paul Clark has gone inside to his left, but Desi goes it alone. Still Desi Farrell outside the large rectangle. It's another free for Dublin. The counter-attack is so effective for the Dublin boys, and they're so good at it, Mick.
Yeah, they're moving the ball very quick. That was a very quick ball onto Desi Farrell there, and he went straight. Unquestionably, he was fouled outside the square there. But they're moving the ball very, very quickly. Dublin are at the minute, and it looks like as if they're going to go on now at the minute.
Early days yet, Mick, but however.
Yeah, quite a long way to go, but Cork have seemed to have gone out of the game, and they're not playing as well as they were early on. Larry Tompkins has not been well on the 40 yards here for Cork in the moment, and Callan hasn't improved the situation since he came on.
And Charlie keeps kicking frees over the bar. 5 points for Charlie Redmond, and Dublin open up a 3-point lead. Certainly Larry has not been dominating at centre half forward. He's gone into his own half back line now in search of possession at times. And Keith Barr staying right beside him. Just about 15 seconds now to the half-time whistle. And maybe injury time. Well won by Kieran O'Sullivan, who's playing very solid, as always, at right half back. Mark O'Sullivan calling for it. Don Davis. Cork need a score before half-time. They would prefer a goal, but I think they'll be satisfied with a point. And that stray ball from Kieran O'Sullivan gives his opposite number 5 possession and the advantage. That's the second foul by Stephen Callan. And I must say that the question of taking Podsie O'Mahony is rising more and more, because there's unnecessary foul there, really. And Stephen Callan becomes the first Cork man to be booked.
Stephen Callan normally plays in the corner forward position, you know. It's very hard to understand the thinking of the Cork selection, the selection committee there to bring him on instead of young O'Mahony.
Keith Barr. Desi Farrell did well to keep it in. Brian Corcoran chasing after him. Still Desi. Still Farrell. Loses this time, however, to Mark Farr. Here's a good ball down to Stephen Callan. Now Callan. There isn't a Cork man in sight except this man, Joe Kavanagh. Mark O'Sullivan has gone deep inside. He wants it now. Calls for it. Keith Galvin chasing after it. Still O'Sullivan. Usually good from here, and he's good today. 2 points from Mark O'Sullivan. Made and created by a good ball from Joe Kavanagh, but it must be said that O'Sullivan made himself available. Now watch Kavanagh see the indication there from Mark O'Sullivan. Getting inside Keith Galvin. There's a match winner here for Cork, really, if they feed him a little bit more. And certainly Cork know it. And the referee blows the half-time whistle. A game with lots of talking points, 23 frees, and a spectacular goal by Jason Sherlock. Half-time score in Croke Park, Dublin won 5, Cork 6 points.
Steve Cooney, the chairman of the Cork County Board, is with me. Christy, I've heard of a game of two halves, but that was a half of two halves. Cork were dominant in the first half of the half.
Undoubtedly, Tony, we dominated the game for the first 20 minutes and led by 3 points. And then against the run of play, Dublin got a goal and they've got on top. But we finished very well now with a fine score by Mark O'Sullivan. And there's no doubt that this game is going down to the wire.
Well, the change you made, bringing Stephen Calman for Podsy O'Mahony, that was a bit surprising to a lot of observers.
The selection committee felt that Podsy was gone out of the game and that Stephen, his seasoned campaigner, would do a job for us on the wing. Now, he's only been on a few minutes, so he needs time to settle, and we look forward to a good display from him in the second half.
Good goal by Sherlock.
Took it very well, yes. Mark O'Connell just slipped before the ball came in. Sherlock got a second start and he was gone away. He's that type of player, an elusive type of player. Finished very well.
Will Cork be making changes at half-time?
Don't know, we'll go in and look at the situation now. We started very well, so there's no reason why we can't come out in the second half and perform and win this game.
Christy, thank you for joining us.
You're very welcome. Welcome, Tony.
So tough stuff in the cauldron that is Croke Park on this All-Ireland football semi-final day. The issue as to who will be joining Tyrone in the All-Ireland final of the third Sunday in September is still very much up for grabs. We'll be talking about what we saw in that first half with our panel after the commercial break. Join us again for that.
TVs, videos, hi-fis and camcorders. Hear and see them for yourself at Power World, Tuam Road, Galway.
New sliced cooked meats from Galtee come in snap packs that are very easy to open.
Michael?
And very easy to close.
IFI's fertilizers have long been a vital part of the Irish farming scene. Now, IFI brings a fresh look to its newly extended best-selling range, which remains, as always, Irish-made for Irish conditions. IFI. We get results.
Hines supporting Sonny O'Sullivan all the way.
If you like to hear both sides of the story, if you want an overview as well as a point of view, if you prefer to express an opinion rather than adopt one, and if you've more questions than answers, the chances are you're independently minded. The Irish Independent. Before you make up your mind, open it.
Bovex from Chanel kills all major worms in cattle and sheep. Sensational offer of free body warmer now on.
Oh, Danny boy.
Buster and Alan's Ireland.
We are an island way out on the sea.
Enjoy 30 of your favourite Irish songs and melodies on double CD and cassette.
If we only
Buster and Alan's Ireland. Now available Sky Music record shops, duty-free Dublin Airport.
Yes, Martin, it's a tracksuit.
I can see that, Dad, but what's it doing on you?
It's part of my new healthier lifestyle. First step, Kellogg's Bran Flakes.
Kellogg's Bran Flakes?
Yeah, they're high in fibre, low in fat.
They taste great. So this new lifestyle of yours means that as well as eating Kellogg's Bran Flakes, you'll be jogging to the newsagents every day?
Yep. One step at a time, Martin.
Kellogg's Bran Flakes, a step in the right direction.
Morris has got it all. Milk, glucose, malt, and thick, thick chocolate. Have you got the taste for it?
See the exclusive range of bathroom suites in PJ Matthews' new showrooms at Ballysimon Road, Limerick. Remember, nobody matches Matthews, the plumbing and heating specialists.
Investing money can be a risky business. But
than POS savings and investments. You get a state guarantee, so your money couldn't be more secure. For a risk-free return, no matter what, talk to One POS Savings and Investments, the safest place for your nest egg.
And that's the scene at Croke Park at half-time in the senior match between Dublin and Cork. Dublin leading on a scoreline of 1-5 to 6 points. And John, on the field at the moment, we have what is part and parcel of big match day here at Croke Park now. The mini-games, the mini-series of football matches involving some of the young boys and girls around the country from the national schools. And that's the action down on the Canal End side where the girls are playing, and up here on the Hill 16 side, it's the boys in the colours of Dublin and Cork, but drawn from national schools all over the country. That young man on the ball there at the moment, for instance, in fact, is from Glasnevin here in Dublin, one of the Dublin people in the Dublin jersey here. Now, on my way into the ground earlier on today, I met a group of Dublin supporters. They asked me to say hello to Sean Nugent from Finglas, who'd normally be here in Cork Park. He's got a broken leg, so he's watching the match at home today. The question is, Martin McHugh, will he be happy with what he's seen so far? Certainly the last 10 minutes of it anyway, from a Dublin point of view.
I think the first 15 minutes or 20 minutes, Cork were really on top in the middle of the field, and then Reinstein's caught a couple of good balls and got Dublin right back into it. That time, I think Cork didn't get enough scores when they were on top. The other thing that's worrying from the Dublin point of view is that they've only scored the goal from play. Five points have come from frees. So that's worrying. For 35 minutes they haven't scored from play other than outside the goal. But I think that they'll be happy enough the fact that they're ahead, having not played well in the first 15 minutes.
Well, Brian Mullins, there were times, I'm sure, that Pat O'Neill was possibly throwing a glance up here to our presentation box and wondering if Brian Mullins still go down, because they didn't win a ball in the middle of the field for about 20 minutes.
That's true. Cork were all over them in the middle field and in the half-back line, and contrary to the Meath game, the Dublin half-forward line was non-existent. But thankfully, from Dublin's point of view, that changed with Brian's fans coming into the game. I think Brian's a fine player. I think the last 10 minutes of this first half, he's capable of that type of play. And for the second half, he will hopefully be able to keep that standard up. Jason Sherlock, I believe, has the beating of the Cork team on his own. I'm far more confident. That's a great goal from him there. He took everything very well. I'm far more confident now than I was at the beginning of the game. I think that if the Dublin team can get the ball into Jason properly, I think he can win the game for them. And we talked about how well they do that.
We talked about the fact, Martin, that Jason Sherlock might have been overhyped going into this match, but certainly he sold Mark O'Connor not just for that goal, but on a couple of occasions when he got the ball before that.
Yeah, he's capable. If they give him a good ball, he's got pace, and as the saying goes, speed kills anywhere. And it's got but the way he took the goal, he kept the ball down, different to the Mayer match beforehand where he kept the ball down. He kept the ball down. He knew what he was doing. He's got an eye for a goal. And I think as Brian has said, if you get more ball into him, the funny thing is he likes the ball to his actual left-hand side, and he turns that way, kind of turns down to his right all the time. He looks inside. He's very, very quick. And if they get more ball, if they start running more in the middle of the field, get more ball inside him, he's definitely going to be very dangerous.
What do you think of this first half has caused the turnabout that saw Dublin out of it for so long and really in control over that last 10 minutes?
I think starting off, even taking John O'Leary, she took them out into where Cork were very strong. Now he's starting to hit the wings of the ball, and there's Dublin are starting to pick up more balls. I think Cork will be disappointed themselves. They didn't make more of the possession they had. And I think that, I would say maybe the second half might start the exact same way, where Cork now get settled down again and come back out. And Dublin are going to have to try to bypass the middle of the field and play the ball into space, which they're doing well. And I think that Keith Barr, different than what he used to do way back, his free kicks, he's starting to kick them short. And that was one, I think that free kick actually from him went into Jason Sherlock that.
From a Dublin point of view, Brian, it must have been extremely worrying, the fact that John O'Leary was even reluctant to kick the ball into the middle of the field because he knew that his players weren't able to win it.
Yes, that would be worrying, but they lost in the middle of the field with so many people competing for it. The breaking ball is very important. I think that it's not so much the catching that Dublin were falling down, it was the actual breaking ball. Stephen O'Brien and the Cork half-back line were picking up everything. Even Larry was getting back there. So Dublin rectified that, as Martin says, by varying the play. But I am far more confident now than I was at the start of the game that Dublin have the capacity to win this match. I think they've chosen the wrong option a few times, but that'll come as the game goes on. They're certainly fit enough, they're full of running, and I think that if they take the right options and keep at the pace they have the game, that they win this game.
Jesse Farrell was a key man for Dublin in the match against Leeds, and he's come into the game well, Martin.
It's funny, we talked about it before, and they've actually switched him out right half forward. He's doing better. Paul Tack's doing that in the centre. So that was a good switch with them. I would like to see, from a Dublin point of view, I think they should introduce Fanny Murphy in the full forward line to give them another option of one on the ball going in there. I don't think their full forward line is running enough ball to the 50-50 balls. I think that they might actually take on Vinny at some stage to one that ball is vital when they need it, you know.
Okay, that's the situation then at half-time. Dublin with the 2-point lead. We saw Kieran Walsh running out there with his colleagues. Kieran is sub at the start of this match today. Let's rejoin our commentary team then of Marty Morrissey and Mick O'Dwyer.
Thank you very much, Michael. Just an interesting statistic as well is that Dublin have registered, if there is such a thing, no wides in the first half. Anything they've shot at, they've scored. Vinnie Murphy giving a couple of words of encouragement as Niall Callahan brings the Cork team out for the second half. Colin Corkery, Mark Farr, they're all there. Stephen O'Brien, Mark O'Connor. Here comes Christy Cooney, chairman of the Cork County Board. As Cork and Dublin teams are on the pitch, let's see what's happening down on the sideline with Tony O'Donoghue.
Well, no changes on either side. I wonder what was happening in the Dublin dressing room. John Costello from Dublin's County Board joins me.
Well, Pat was just telling the lads to keep their shape. We have a game plan, try and keep to it. The first half we started off pretty poorly. Terry Redmond kept us in the game. Cork got the initiative, they had 3 points ahead of us, then Jason got one chance and he took it. We started to dominate them, but we're not getting any breaks at all in midfield, and he was asking the half-forwards and half-backs line to get in and contest every breaking ball. And if we get a majority of those, I'm sure we'll go on to victory.
And how is Paul Beelan?
Paul Beelan's a hip injury.
Okay, let's look for the second half. Thank you, John.
And so no changes on either side as Cork midfielders Danny Cullity and Liam Honahan, they'll be hoping for a repeat of their first half, 25-30 minutes. As the atmosphere here at Croke Park is very, very enjoyable. Young and old, thoroughly enjoying proceedings. A future Dublin ladies footballer, no doubt. Skerry's here, sporting, of course, John O'Leary, who resides in that neck of the woods. And the Dublin supporters, the hottest of favourites indeed before the game, must now be a little bit concerned, but equally just as confident. Referee Pat McEnany about to start this second half. Who will play Tyrone in the All-Ireland football final on the 3rd Sunday in September? What's the betting on the first draw of the championship as well? It's that sort of a game. Keith Barr, Desi Farrell. Remember, Dublin leading by just 2 points, as you can see there in the top left-hand corner of your screen. Mick Galvin. Oh, that's a superb effort by Mick Galvin. His first of the All-Ireland semi-final. And that's exactly what Dublin needed, because they started the first half rather poorly, but Charlie Redmond was doing an overlap, but Mick Galvin made himself available for Desi. This is a very good point. Pat O'Neill and Bobby Doyle now just a little bit happier. Danny Cullity. Another free for Cork. Stephen O'Brien calls over this side. Gives it in towards Joe Cabda. Faced by Dermot Deasy. Nice play by the Nemo man. Thought about a point. Gives it to Mark O'Sullivan instead. Floats one gently in and Mick Deegan is there. Reaches captain John O'Leary to Brian Stiles. Dublin starting the second half far more confident than the first half. Nice play, Paul Curran. This is the Dublin side that played Meath in the Leinster final after all. Up towards Mick Galvin, Paul Clark on the outside. This is Clarkey. Dropping one in and dropping one over the bar. Good score, Paul Clark. Giving him a grand total of 1-6 in the championship so far for Dublin and 1 point in this match. This was a lovely interplay by the Dublin players. Worked from their own goal mouth, quite literally, to Paul Clark, who floated it over the bar. And now Billy Morgan is up off the bench. I'm very concerned at this stage because this is exactly what he didn't want. A good start by Dublin for the second half. Mark Farr knocking it away. Brian Corcoran holding on to it for dear life. Sending it into the space. Keith Barr is there. To Paul Curran. Now gets his free. Just in the background there, while Billy Morgan is trying to encourage his players, Pat O'Neill was telling Paul Curran to cool matters down. And that's why the ball is going to be taken from the ground rather than from the hand. Let's control it, is the Dublin philosophy at the moment. Keith Galvin and Mark O'Sullivan at the other end as this ball drops in. Jason Sherlock leaving it down, and Kevin O'Dwyer had to be alert at his near post, and he concedes a 45. Paul Clark was the man who drove it in.
I know there was a couple of great soccer touches here on the ground. Jason tipped it out to Paul Clark and he pulled first time. Could quite easily have put it in the back of the net, but it was a great save by Kevin O'Dwyer.
45 is driven over the bar. Charlie Redmond increases his personal tally to 6 points.
Cork have become very ragged in around the middle of the field, and their half-back line and the half-hour line, who were totally on top earlier on, seem to have gone out of the game completely.
Hill 16 is coming alive, increasing in volume. Can Cork now respond? They trail by 5 points. Niall Callahan, the captain, says very much so to Larry Tompkins. The first real opportunity for Larry, given a bit of space, and he puts it over the bar. It's a crucial one for Cork, because Dublin had their tails up and were beginning to sail into the breeze. The two Castlehaven lads combine nicely here. Niall finding Larry, and Larry finding the posts. Jesse Farrell just getting a little bit of attention there. And up and along the sideline, Vinnie Murphy is warming up. Will he be introduced shortly? That's the scoreline. And Stephen O'Brien with possession. And Paddy Moran did very well there, because Colin just gave him a little bit of a nudge as the ball was dropping down. And the referee has signalled that it's a free, in fact, for Dublin. I think Billy is asking his midfielders for a little bit more effort now. They had control. Certainly Brian Steins, and to a lesser extent Pat Gilroy, doing very nicely at the moment. Stephen O'Brien to Larry Tompkins, beginning to gain a little bit of superiority at centre forward. Mark O'Sullivan, Joe Kavanagh comes along to it. There's a goal here. O'Leary does well. Paddy Moran is there. That was a real golden opportunity for Cork. Mark O'Sullivan, the danger isn't gone yet. Joe Kavanagh once more. There's a chance of a point, and Joe Kavanagh takes his point. His first point of the All-Ireland semi-final. And suddenly Dublin's lead doesn't look as intimidating.
Now, and Larry Tompkins seems to be coming into the game at the moment.
It was a good clearance by Paddy Moran. And certainly Cork did very well to engineer a score here.
Yes, this was a very good move by Larry Tompkins, and Mark O'Sullivan gets it right into Kavanagh, but Kavanagh is an exceptionally good player, and that was a great score.
Here comes Dublin once more. Jason Sherlock, Mark O'Connor slapping it away from him. And Sherlock has gone back inside, and he gathers possession. Two Cork lads watching it. To Mick Galvin, making room for himself to shoot, and he puts it over Mick Galvin's second point of the afternoon, and Dublin lead by 4. And Dublin are going to introduce a substitute. That's Kieran Walsh that's being brought in, and he will play in the full back line. So is it Keith Galvin that's going off? I would imagine it is. Yes, it is. So Kieran Walsh comes in to deprive Mark O'Sullivan of further opportunities. I think that was on the cards for some time.
Yes, it was. Keith Galvin was having terrible problems with Mark O'Sullivan right through the game. It was amazing that that substitution wasn't made earlier on.
Some pushing there by Pat Gilroy, quite blatantly. And a bit of gamesmanship coming into this now. There's a free for Cork.
Gamesmanship does not paying off, I can tell you, because Colm Corkery has a chance now putting this one over the bar from there.
Taking this from the hands. He's well capable of putting shots like this over the bar. It's dropping. And dropping wide. Good calling by the Dublin defence. Dermot Deasy along with Joe Kavanagh. And John O'Leary, as these players look on, slowing matters down considerably. They did this, I remember, against Laois as well, and it worked for them on that occasion. Stephen O'Brien calling loudly there for Danny, and Danny looking for the return pass. Sending it low to Joe Kavanagh. Nobody really running in an overlap position. It's a good ball to Colin Corkery. Hops unfortunately for him, but he still has it. Back to Larry. Paddy Moran and Keith Barr. Larry goes for the free, but he doesn't get it. Deemed to have been charging. In many instances, the first free he got in the first half, Mick, was very similar, but that time he got the free.
Very, very similar, that's right, but there was no doubt he charged that time, and he also charged in the first time, but he got one the first time, he didn't this time.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
That's right.
And Pat O'Neill's tactics for Dublin, once they gain control to slow matters down, is working very well. It's a lesson for all football teams. And Mick Deegan was absolutely disgusted with himself because he wasted possession. Kieran O'Sullivan. Larry Tompkins moving across, but Stephen Callan was being fouled by Paul Curran. So that's going to be a free for Cork. And that's a bit silly really by Dublin, because once you're inside the 45-metre line, it usually means a point for Colin Corkery.
That's right. As a matter of fact, the last one there, it was just outside the 45. I was amazed that he didn't put it on the ground and bang it over, because he's a great dead ball kicker. And this could be quite easily another point, and that would bring it to within reason. They'll be within the goal then of Dublin, and that will make it very, very interesting.
Colin Corkery, wind assisted, puts it over the bar. 5 points for Colin Corkery. And Cork trail by that Jason Sherlock goal.
Yeah, Cork seem to have come back into the game around the middle of the field again. Cullity and Honahan are starting to come into the game again, and Larry has stepped up his game. He's looking for play now, you know.
Dublin are rethinking Bobby Doyle and Jim Brogan and Pat O'Neill. And I think Pat O'Neill wants a little bit more. Let's just put it like that. Is he going to get it? Paul Clark. McGalvin back to Clarkey. Paul Curran. Desi Farrell is available inside. Curran, from a very difficult angle, it must be said, drives it wide. And really, that was a bad mistake by Paul Curran, because Desi Farrell was available. And incredibly, that is Dublin's first wide of this All-Ireland semi-final after 47.5 minutes of play. coordination is crucial really at midfield. This is Mick Deegan, Don Davis is with him. Charlie Redmond, back to Mick Galvin. Point scoring opportunity, and Mick Galvin is playing very well. 3 points for Mick Galvin. A man who has much suffered in the past in terms of being substituted. He's very much the hero for the Dubs now.
Well, he always seems to be the fall guy on the Dublin team. When they ever take a forward off, it's generally McGallivan, so it's great to see him playing so well here today. He's kicked some marvellous points for Dublin.
Cork's selectors are thinking about bringing in Shea Fahy, and a man who was only brought back in recent weeks. And this is going to be a major move by Cork. In many ways, Billy Morgan's request to Shea Fahy to come back signifies that maybe the Cork mentors felt that they needed more strength at midfield. And Mark O'Connor is deemed to have overcarried, and that's going to be a free for Dublin. And Mark O'Connor is disappointed with that. And Charlie Redmond, once again, there is no rush with the Dublin players taking frees. They're leading by 4 points.
The one thing about Jason Sherlock, even when he loses possession of the ball, he's very tenacious. He'll tackle and harass and he'll follow and he'll put the player who has the ball under great pressure. They paid off that.
Jim Gavin, difficult angle. Floats it in, floats it wide. So Shea Fahy is being introduced by Billy Morgan. He was only brought back to the Cork panel when Colin Corkery got injured. He accepted Billy's request, and he is now in at wing forward, and Don Davis is the man that's going off. Now this is, in many ways, a sensational move by Cork.
Well, I suppose it is in a way, but they have brought Shea Fahy on now. They'll play him as a third midfielder, you'll find.
So let's see what happens. A race for the first time for Kieran Walsh, and he wins it. He missed the All-Ireland final last year. If Dublin are there this year, he wants to make sure he's there. Mick Deegan to Paul Curran. Dublin stepping up the gear. Jason Sherlock. Referee allows the advantage. That's a good decision by the referee because the two of them fell. Jim Gavin cutting in along the touchline. Looking for support outside. Mick Galvin is there again. Jason is available. Jason calls. Jason shoots. It's dropping under the crossbar and Kevin O'Dwyer drops it. And the referee has blown his whistle after all of that. Was unfortunate for Jason Sherlock. Had piles of elevation. Kevin O'Dwyer went up and dropped it, and the referee says there was a foul. Brian Steins again. Mick Deegan. Charlie Redmond being held and having a fisticuffs with Mark Farr. They're flying left and right as Desi Farrell at the far side cuts across. Niall Callahan. Still there now. And now he gets the play, and there's another blow. And that was just a continuation of what was going on off the ball. When Desi Farrell was going away with the ball, Mark Farr and Charlie Redmond just flaked into each other. Charlie is being spoken to by the referee, Pat McEnany. Well, Pat has words with his umpires. I'm sure they saw it.
Charlie was caught there, I think, for retaliation more than any other thing, you know. As you said there, Marty, I think the umpire should have been consulted there.
You see Mark Farr coming in again, and there you can see the retaliation by Charlie. Niall Callahan. Into the space, and Joe Kavanagh comes rushing out but misjudges it. Kieran Walsh back to Dermot Deasy. Down the middle, and Mark Farr is there. And Dunmanway. Danny Cullity from Newmarket. To Joe Kavanagh. Didn't hop kindly for it. Still Kavanagh. Keith Barr puts it out over the line. Line ball for Cork. Barr is very annoyed with Brian Steins that he didn't take Shea Fahy, as Larry Tompkins takes this sideline ball, which goes to the right and wide. Cork now have 6 wides in this match. Trapper John there with Paul Beelan. On the Dublin bench, and Sean Cahill. And again, this easy, almost lazy style of John O'Leary, who's deliberately just cooling matters down. Pat Gilroy. Paul Curran. Up towards Charlie Redmond. Now what's the linesman going to do? Paddy Russell gives it to Cork. And Mick Galvin and Charlie Redmond obviously disagree. That's a bad ball. Easily nicked away by Pat Gilroy. Still Pat Gilroy. Putting it across to Mick Galvin. And he fists it over the bar. 4 points for Mick Galvin. But it was a bad mistake really by Niall Cahalane. It's an interesting contrast indeed that Dublin cool batters down, very much so, and Cork rushed that sideline ball and gave the ball away.
Yeah, Cork seemed to be very, very rattled over the last 10 minutes, and in the introduction of Shea Fahy hasn't made any big difference yet.
Now, what can Billy Morgan and the Cork lads do? It's going to be a line ball for Dublin. Mick Deegan. Jesse Farrell. Kieran O'Sullivan. Jesse Farrell, I must say, is having a great season this time. In 95. Brian Steins for Paul Clark. Who does well to keep it in, but he's given a free. And again, Paul Curran. You can see the way the Dublin lads are cooling matters down. It really must have been drilled into them. And referee Pat McEnany has halted play because the umpire has called him to go down and check about something that's happening off the ball.
Yeah, this must be a tactic by Dublin, all right. They have really slowed the game down, Marty, and it seems to be paying dividends.
The referee Pat McEnany is calling Mark O'Connor over, obviously for something that happened off the ball, for a foul on Jason Sherlock, I would imagine. And so Mark O'Connor becomes the second Cork player to be booked. Charlie Redmond is seeking Jason Sherlock. And he has it. Great burst of speed. This time Mark O'Connor is there, so too is Liam Honohan. And the referee has given a free to Cork. He wants the free to be taken from where the foul was committed, which is virtually alongside the end line. Minutes left. 5 points between the teams. Will Dublin hold on, or can Cork produce something magical? And they need it in the shape of a goal, really. Paul Clark. Needs support outside, but it's not there. He has to go inside. Stephen O'Brien. Larry Tompkins. It's a long way from goal though, but it's a great ball to Joe Kavanagh. Calling inside is Colin Cochrane. John O'Leary had to come out, and that's gone out for 45. It's Cork's second 45 of the match.
Joe Cavanagh's the one player in the Cork forward line I think that could do damage here today if he got enough of the ball. But he has the legs on DC, and if they get the ball in quickly to him, I think he's the one player that could get a goal and maybe bring Cork back into the game.
Must be said as well, Mick, of course, that Mark O'Sullivan hasn't seen much ball in the second half.
No, since Kieran Walsh came on, he hasn't been in the game.
Colin Corkery, meanwhile, takes his points. Himself and Charlie Redmond are now level on 6 points each. So Vinnie Murphy being warmed up again. John O'Leary again in no rush whatsoever. Of Dublin, one of the most experienced members of this Dublin side, as there's chanting and singing in Croke Park. It's going to be a line ball, says Paddy Russell of Tipperary, the linesman at the far side. Sideline there, telling his charges what he wants more of.
It's very hard to understand Dublin the way they're slowing the game down.
Brian Corcoran gets a hand to it, but sort of pushing there by Dublin players. It's a free for Cork. Kevin O'Dwyer, All-Ireland Under-21 medal last year. One of 5 members of the 94 All-Ireland Under-21 winning side on this Cork team. He'll be hoping for his forwards to create some more opportunities from this ball. It is Dublin that has it. Dizzy Farrell giving it out quickly this time to Mick Deegan. He's going to have to run for it. He's going to get there. Jim Gavin, Brian Steins is inside, cutting through is Charlie Redmond. He goes for the free and he gets it. Cork players are incensed at this, absolutely incensed at the referee's decision. And let's see if Charlie and the Dublin players sought it for free. It was Brian Steins that had it. Well, that was a fairly high challenge. I don't think the Cork players can argue too much on that evidence.
Brian Steins is having a wonderful game today for Dublin, and he's the one player that really changed it. From the moment that Jason Sherlock got the goal, he came into the game and he has changed and swung at Dublin's way.
Charlie Redmond to increase Dublin's lead to 5 points. There's still time for Cork.
There is, Marty, but the way they're playing at the moment, I can't see them coming back into it.
Brian Steins once more. He really is playing well at midfield. And somehow he managed to sneak that out. I'm not too sure if that pass was legal. To Mick Galvin. Jim Gavin. Dispossessed. Kieran O'Sullivan. Getting away from the attention of Paul Clark. Giving it low to Stephen O'Brien. To Liam Honohan. There's acres of Croke Park now to fill. It's a bad ball, however, and Mark O'Sullivan can't reach it. And there was acres of Croke Park grass in front of him. But it was a poor ball which Billy Morgan would not be pleased with. Desi Farrell. It's a bad ball from Desi. I'm sure Pat O'Neill would not be pleased with. Dublin's third wide of the match. It's Cork introduce, or about to introduce, Pádraig O'Regan into their side. Liam Honohan. Mark O'Sullivan started behind Kieran Walsh. And Mark O'Sullivan who looked a match winner in the first half, now has a chance. He floats it in, it's dropping short and it's dropping to the left and wide.
Cork players are trying to win this game on their own at the present time, and that's not going to pay off. I mean, Marco Sullivan should have released that ball to Cavan, and if he had, Cavan would have got a score.
So Pádraig O'Regan comes on for Cork, and Vinnie Murphy is coming on for Dublin. So Pádraig O'Regan is in, and let's see who's going off. Joe Kavanagh now is playing at centre half forward, and Stephen O'Brien, amazingly, is playing full forward. And Stephen Callan is the man that's going off. So a substitute for a substitute. Vinnie Murphy is on, and going off is Paul Clark. I've often seen Stephen O'Brien play for his club Nemo Rangers. I must say I haven't seen him play at full forward before. So now Cork acknowledge they need a goal. And Vinnie, much to the light of Hill 16, gathers possession. Gives it to Pat Gilroy. We talk about depth of talent and a good panel effort. Certainly Dublin are showing it once more. Tyrone did it last Sunday. It's looking good, but it's going to the left and wide. Paul Kern acknowledges that he should have done a little bit better, perhaps. There's Stephen O'Brien, and he looks up at the scoreboard and the time. And certainly time is running out, as you can see. 28 minutes. Shea Fahy. The ball more on hope than anything else. Knocked away by Stephen O'Brien, but Mick Deegan is in the right position for it. Vinnie Murphy to Mick Deegan. Knocked away by Brian Corcoran, who goes chasing after it and gathers it. Sending it low towards Colin Corcoran. It's going to be a line ball for Dublin. So Dublin player is down injured at the moment. The referee, as Charlie Redmond, is getting a little bit of attention. And Dublin will avail of the opportunity to just gather their wins. That's a shoulder injury. Dr. Pat Duggan and Dr. Pat O'Neill checking that their corner forward can continue. Five minutes left in this All-Ireland semi-final of 95. Can the Munster champions produce something in those final few minutes? Colin Corcoran. This time he's tripped, and it's going to be a free for Cork. It has to be a goal now. Joe Kavanagh sending it in. Harmlessly into John O'Leary's hands. To Keith Barr. And again Dublin showing great confidence. Still Keith. To Charlie Redmond. Aaron's eye lads keeping it together. Jason Sherlock just slipping inside. Mark O'Connor after it. Still Jason. Desi Farrell wants it long across the goal. Finds Jim Gavin instead. Gavin turns and sends it wide. 5 wides for Dublin. The scoreline is still very much in their favour. Had Cork accepted defeat, Billy Morgan never will until that final whistle blows. Brian Steins once more. Well, Cork lads were totally superior in the opening 20 minutes, and after that, this man came to life. Steins with Danny Cullity. Charlie Redmond. They're quite happy to play ball over here all day long. Now comes the cross. Joe Kavanagh giving it to Niall Callahan. Available is Larry Tompkins. 32 minutes and 41 seconds in this All-Ireland semi-final gone. A great run by Tompkins. He has to go for goal. Still going. Now brought down, and that's going to be a free. And Keith Barr is going to be booked by the referee.
That was a needless pull down, I think, by Keith Barr at that stage. Larry Tompkins said, I'd say, had just about ran out of steam. Dublin seem to be way fitter. They're running all over the park at the moment, and Cork seem to be very, very dead at the moment.
And Keith, as usual, using the charm with Pat McEnany. This is the incident again. It was a great run by Larry, but really they needed to create a space rather than just win a free. Colin Corkery takes the point. 4 points between the teams. And time running out very quickly for the Leesiders. That's exactly what Colin is asking about. In fact, he's telling the referee, I think, that John O'Leary is taking so long with the kick-outs. Interestingly, Charlie Redmond has scored 7 points from frees. Colin Corkery has scored 7 points from frees. Larry Tompkins once more. Over towards Stephen O'Brien. Needs a little bit of a help. Comes in the form of Niall Carlan. Trying to burrow his way through for a goal, but he's going the wrong way now. He gives it across to Shea Fahy. Paul Curran gets a hand to it. Back outside to Liam Honohan. It's more in hope now than anything else. Cork are going forward. Still Paul Curran. To Jim Gavin, and he's the right half forward. And right up into the Hogan stand. Beside our camera as well. Seconds left in this All-Ireland semi-final. Mark Farr with the free. Up towards Mark O'Sullivan. Great catch. Giving inside to Joe Kavanagh. Shea Fahy going for goal deflected. And John O'Leary did well not to concede a 45. And again it's Brian Steins. A major influence after the opening 20 minutes when the Dublin midfielders were asleep. But by God have they woken up. Charlie Redmond saying, let's cool it down. It looks like Dublin are in the All-Ireland final.
After a very, very slow start, they really came into the game and they're playing exceptionally well now. And they're running all over the park, and their level of fitness, as I said earlier on, is unbelievable.
That goal by Jason Sherlock certainly set them on their way. Kieran O'Sullivan gets the free. Mark O'Connor this side. Cork about to lose another All-Ireland semi-final. Still a great run by the full-back. Larry Tompkins. O'Connor wants it back. Still Larry twisting and turning Keith Barr. Floating one in, but they need more than that. 2 points for Larry Tompkins. But we're deep into injury time. I think Larry thought there was a little bit more because he looked to the Cork bench and indicated about time. The whistling reaching deafening proportions as the Hill are about to celebrate a place in the All-Ireland final of 1995. They're there. It's Dublin against Tyrone on the third Sunday in September. They had a great battle, Charlie Redmond and Mark Farr, including a bout of fisticuffs. No hard feelings whatsoever. Charlie is back in an All-Ireland final. And rightly the Dublin people celebrate. But no doubt about it, Mick, Jason Sherlock's goal set them on their way.
Well, Jason Sherlock's goal was the one that changed the whole pattern of the game, and of course Styles then took over in the middle of the field, and he had an outstanding game. He gave a great performance there today, and I think that's the reason why Dublin are in the All-Ireland final.
It's Dublin against Tyrone. Dublin in an All-Ireland semi-final, 1 goal and 12 points. Cork, 12 points.
And Paul Clark. To Dr. O'Neil, first of all, congratulations, another All-Ireland final.
Yeah, thanks very much. We're very pleased to be there. They're always very hard semi-finals to get through. It's a matter of getting through them. There's nothing pretty about them, but we're very happy.
You had a very difficult start, of course, because Cork dominated the early exchanges.
We were very nervous in the early stages. We just worked and together. 20 minutes we set back.
Were you about to change forward when you with Paul Phelan?
He's a player, so he's there today, so we're quite happy.
St. Sherlock's goal at the turning point in the first half, at least.
Where we're getting and it certainly gave us that little bit of latitude that we needed to get back in the game.
You were able to slow it down half-time, second half, in fact.
Yeah, no, I was a little bit worried.
So Dublin are through then to the All-Ireland final, and down here below us near the Hill 16 end, Jason Mania has broken out. Jason Sherlock absolutely engulfed by the Dublin supporters. They love him on this particular Sunday evening. He loves them too, as he's brought a Cork jersey as the spoils of war over to Hill 16. We'll be discussing what we've seen throughout the afternoon here in the senior match after the commercial break, so do please stay with us for that.
It's the DID Electrical Hotpoint Summer Sale with amazing savings on Hotpoint appliances. Now on at DID Electrical, Stillorgan, Crumlin Swords, Mountjoy Square and Talla.
Blian isteach is blian amach. Chwile lád an tain. Ní lean homestead mar the homestead hain. Fiúntas a teach chun tí.
Homestead fiúntas ag teach chun tí.
Still life with Ballygowan. No other water.
When you choose Dulux Weather Shield, your house will look good and stay protected year after year. There is no longer lasting exterior paint for moisture resistance and extreme temperature. And because of its UV protection, Dulux Weather Shield resists cracking, peeling and fading for longer. So with our Irish weather, no wonder most people choose Dulux Weather Shield. Dulux Weather Shield. Don't risk anything less.
Yes, Martin, it's a tracksuit.
I can see that, Dad, but what's it doing on you?
It's part of my new healthier lifestyle. First step, Kellogg's Bran Flakes.
Kellogg's Bran Flakes?
Yeah, they're high in fibre, low in fat.
They taste great. So this new lifestyle of yours means that as well as eating Kellogg's Bran Flakes, you'll be jogging to the newsagents every day?
Yep. One step at a time, Martin.
Kellogg's Bran Flakes, a step in the right direction.
Mr. Soft, won't you tell me why the world in which you're living is so strange? Oh, Mr. Soft, how come everything around you is so soft and rearranged?
Bite through the shell of a Trebor soft mint and everything turns chewy and soft. They're crispy on the outside, chewy on the inside.
So in the aftermath of this afternoon's All-Ireland football semi-final between Dublin and Cork, the Dublin supporters leave Croke Park jubilantly, and as they go out that exit there under the Hogan stand, they are keen to tell the members of the media in the Hogan stand that they are going to win the cup. Well, Martin McHugh, the strength of their performance today, will they win, Sam, this time?
I think it'll be maybe their worst performance to date so far in the championship, but semi-finals, as we said last Sunday, is all about winning, Michael. And the most important thing for Dublin was to win it. They played. Look, I really, as an Ulster man, I'd go to see Tyrone win it, but I can't see Dublin being beaten again by an Ulster team in another All-Ireland final after being beaten this last 4 years. You know, so it's going to be still tough in the final. Tyrone will not be that too unhappy leaving here today.
An awful lot was expected of this match today. Everybody thought it was going to be a real cracker. It was an odd game of football in many ways.
Yeah, it was a poor match now, in fairness it was. But that's the way semi-finals sometimes are. They're there to be won. And I think Dublin upped the tempo the second half, and you had Mick Galvin kicking 4 points from play, which was important, and the other forwards came into the road. And Cork were completely out of the match. And I mean, Cork have gone now 5 matches, championship matches, without scoring a goal. And they never looked like scoring a goal. And normally Cork teams before, if you look back, would have won matches on getting goals.
I'm sure that Brian Mullins would agree with this point, that sometimes you have to play badly, Brian, to find the character within the team to sort of dig yourself out of a problem.
Yes, that's true. I remember All-Ireland semi-finals when we were very poor and came out and played very impressively in the subsequent final. Mick Galvin played very well today. He was taken off in the Leinster final. Dessie Farrell, who was the star of the game in the Leinster final, was poor by his own standards today, as was Paul Clark, who was a hero in the Leinster final. That's important. I was disappointed from a Dublin point of view that they came out in the second half and they played the ball very intelligently for the first 3 or 4 scores they got, and then they stopped doing that. But as you say, maybe they're better off with those problems going into the final, because if they were as impressive today as they were against Meath, they would be made outstanding favourites, and that wouldn't be in their favour at all.
The way they played for that 5-6 minutes immediately after the restart was critical to them, because they got those scores that really, I suppose, Cork needed at that stage.
They did, yes, and they caught the first ball in the middle of the field, and Pat Gilroy and Brian Steins for a while got the dominance there that gave Dublin the advantage. They took advantage of it, but when they were 5 or 6 points up, they then let Cork back into it by changing their tactics. But you know, hopefully all our country cousins are happy now that Dublin are on their way to the All-Ireland. I know my own in Carndona and Boston and places like that are hoping that this will be Dublin's year, but I suppose Tyrone will have their supporters as well. But this Dublin team has worked very hard, and you know, hopefully now they're at the last hurdle, they won't let it slip. There's some things that are obvious. Keith Barr is playing very, very defensively, which is very solid from a Dublin point of view. Paul Curran was quiet today by his own standards. Moran in the corner was very good. Dermot wasn't cut out too much, but they're playing much more as an intelligent team now, although at times they seem to lose the run of themselves, but they will be happy. Pat O'Neill will be happy with today's performance. All
right, Brian, we're going to stop it there for just a moment because we're going back down to pitch side. Tony O'Donoghue, I think, has somebody for us to talk to.
Dubs, one with a Cork jersey up, Paul Curran. A great game by you, Paul, and a great game by the Dubs.
Yeah, I'm absolutely delighted we're into the final. Probably wasn't the best performance, but like Tyrone last week, semi-finals are for winning, and final now with 4 weeks to get ready for it.
Were you half time because it was a close run thing? There was only a couple of points.
I think I was worried 20 minutes into the game, but I think when Jason Sherlock got his goal, it settled us down a bit, and we went 2 points up, and we probably should have went a couple more up. But after the break, we went 4 or 5 points up. But again, we let them back in last 10 minutes, and we won't be happy with the last 10 or 15 minutes.
Well, the job is only half done as well now, John. You've been to All-Ireland finals so many times since '83. Won.
Well, haven't won them. It's a long road, and now we're in the final. We just got to put it to bed, as I say. Yeah, delighted to beat Cork. It's a tough old game, and as Paul says, semi-finals just, you know, just to get into the final. And it's a relief there now, but we have a lot of work to do. We got away some silly scores, we missed scores, we had plenty of the ball, we should have scored a bit more there, especially in the second half, but that kept Cork in the game. No, we've plenty of work to do yet.
Was there a point in the second half though when you knew you had it?
Not really, no. When the final whistle went.
Can you beat Tyrone now?
Beat Tyrone, but I mean, that's a proof in today's performance. That won't be good enough to beat Tyrone.
Okay, thanks to John O'Leary and Paul Curran. Well done, lads.
Yes, an interesting view there from John O'Leary. Martin McHugh, Paul Curran mentioned Jason Sherlock's goal there has been the key in the first half to sort of turning this game around for them. And there's no doubt about it. That was the goal that Dublin needed at that stage, but they weren't playing particularly well, to say the least of it.
No, they weren't going well, and I mean, the goal was what Dublin really needed at the time. And see, as we said at half time, he's got a good ball in from Keith Barr, and He got the ball, he had only one thing on his mind, which is a good sign of a player, eye for goal. He kept the ball down, he knew where he was putting it, and that goal ended up the same as last Sunday's Peter Callum's goal. That was the difference between the two teams. End up it's only a goal in it.
That goal critical, but there was a couple of points, in fact 4 points scored in the second half by Mick Galvin that really did set Dublin up, Brian Mullins, in this game.
Yeah, I as I've said, pointed out already, would see Mick Galvin's contribution today as being crucial. He was always available. We had a very good vantage point from here. I could see that he was always available, and there he is getting the ball, steadies himself and makes sure of it. And that was just one of the many few good points that he got in the second half. And going back to the goal that was scored, there was an element of luck to that goal. The kick out from the Cork goal, it was touch and go as to whether Brian Steins was fouled or fouling. And the key again was that Keith Barr got the ball and he took a very, very quick free, which is allowed in the new rules, and Jason was in for the goal. So, you know, some days you have the luck, some days you don't. But if I was appointing a man of the match from Dublin's point of view, it would have to be Mick Galvin. And I think he has been around for a few years, has been taken off very regularly, but has stuck to his task, kept himself fit, and it's great to see him get the way things go well for him today, the way they did.
Well, Brian, obviously you know Dublin very well. You've seen Tyrone come through their Ulster campaign and beat Galway here last Sunday. What about the All-Ireland final? What do you think?
The All-Ireland final is now a matter of nerves. This Dublin team should maybe have had 2-3 All-Irelands in the bag already. There will be very little done on the training field that will improve fitness between this and the final. It's all psychological now. And my sympathies will be with the Dublin players. I remember back to this period myself when I was playing, and it's a hard 4 weeks to get through because there's so much talk. Everywhere you turn, they're talking about tickets. It's in everybody's mind, and you're trying to concentrate on putting in your best on the day.
And obviously another thing that will be in a lot of people's minds as well is the fact that Dublin have come to this situation in the past couple of years on a couple of occasions, and it slipped away from them.
Yes, and we would have to say that there's that small ingredient that we wonder whether this Dublin team have it or not. I see signs that they have. I see it in Keith Barr's play, Mick Deegan, Paul Curran, a lot more sensible than they are. I am impressed with Brian Steins. He's getting better with every game. He's realising that in the middle of the field it's about catching the ball and dominating, and he's beginning to do that a lot more now. So there are parts of Dublin play that I'm impressed with, that I think that they may have got over this hurdle, this mental block about an All-Ireland. But there are other parts that I'm a little bit concerned with, that when they do get a team ahead of the team, they tend to start taking things easy, and the management will have to get that out before the final, because Tyrone are a very, very fit team. Highly motivated because of Ulster's dominance over the last 4 years. Would be shamed to go back to Ulster as the first Ulster team to lose the run.
Of course. Well, obviously, Martin McHugh, beside me here, you were part of a team that undid Dublin in an All-Ireland final in '92. What are your views of Tyrone?
I think Tyrone, I mean, finals, when you get to a final, I think the pressure's off them now, they're in the final. They are under a bit of pressure in the fact that the last 4 teams have won the Ulster Champ. I think, though, that this Tyrone team are good. They haven't really played as well as I think they're capable of. Maybe their second half performance against Derry. I think they're coming, Dublin will be favourites for the match. I think they're coming under no pressure. But the good thing looking back at Dublin today, from a Dublin point of view, was Mick Galvin today done the business today, when other days it was Charlie Redmond, Desi Farrell, and that's a good sign of a team. That's a very good sign of a team. So I believe that Tyrone are going to have to play well, and I think that, I think they're going to have to play Cushion McGlennon from the start. And I think it's going to make for a very, very good match.
Well, Donegal in '92 beat a highly vaunted Dublin team at the time, on the back of not a great semi-final performance by you. So what was it that Donegal did on the day that unravelled Dublin?
Well, I think basically what we've done is that every player played to his potential. You know, we didn't expect that. You expected you got 12 players playing or 13 playing. We actually had 16 that day who played well on that day, and I think that's what Tyrone will want, and Dublin will want up their performance as well. But I think now that the pressure's off both teams because they're in the final, pressure's off them, and I think we've been making some a very, very good match, and hopefully the weather stays good for it, and that we have a great final, because we maybe need a good championship match. The Meath Dublin game was probably the best we had so far, but it wasn't really that great, so we need a good final for GA, and I suppose a lot of people say we need Dublin to win it because it's good for the city and for the people. I think that a lot of people outside Tyrone and Ulster will hope that Dublin will win it, but I think that they realise they're going to have to perform on the day to the best of their ability, and I would say better than they did today.
All right, Martin McHugh, Brian Mullins, thank you very much for your thoughts here on our panel this afternoon. And that's where we must leave it from Croke Park. Well, our next live transmission, of course, here from GAA headquarters will be the All-Ireland hurling final in 2 weeks' time. That, of course, that's intriguing confrontation between Clare and Offaly. But however, later on tonight on the Sunday game, 9 o'clock, you can see a review of today's match. We'll also be naming our man of the match from this afternoon's game between Dublin and Cork. Thank you for joining us. Bye-bye.